You have very nice ceilings.
Do I? Well, you like ceilings?
Not particularly.
Well, I hope you like this. It's fresh sea urchin wrapped in seaweed, or nori, if you prefer. I love sushi.
I love Lucy.
Who doesn't? She's hilarious.
Here you go. One champagne cocktail.
Oh, thank you.
I thought only hookers drank those things.
Well, I know Mom sure likes them.
Kind of like champagne cocktails. Only hookers like this movie.
Oh. Well, I know my mom sure loves it.
Oh. Got him.
He said what he said.
This is Blast from the Past spoilers.
Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Accentuate the positive, and lights on.
You gotta accentuate the positive.
Hey, y'all.
I wasn't ready for the alley-oop spoiler. That was good.
Yeah, it was like we wrote that. I don't know. This is Brendan Fraser spoilers. This is Spoilers Podcast. I love covering movies and talking about them with my friends, and that's what we're going to do tonight. We have a couple segments that Spoilers always does. The first one of which, of course, is opening question. Gives us a chance to move around the country, introduce you to the guys, and maybe get some insights on Brendan Fraser. We'll see here in a second. But Corey, your mom chose this as a Patreon pick. She's one of our oldest members on Patreon. Thank you so much.
True, she's 99.
Are we allowed to say her name?
Sure.
First name, Gina, right? Is that right? Thank you so much, Gina.
Gina.
Mother Gina.
That was good. You got it, Pap. You got the gift.
Your mom, I didn't mean she's like an elderly person. I just mean she's been like a Patreon since we first opened our Patreon up. And Corey, because she is your mom, you get to answer this question first. I'm going to give it a crack here, okay? What is your favorite and least favorite Brendan Fraser film? Starting with Kylo, that's what your mom said. Got to start with you. And as a footnote, no one can say the same movies. So, as Brett pointed out pre-pod, there's kind of a little bit of a limited list with Brendan Fraser. Are you guys feeling okay about this opening question?
We have a choice.
Wasn't there a part 2, or are we only doing part 1?
Oh, we do have a choice. Okay. Or
Part 2 is a little...
I feel like it's a cop-out, but if you were in a bomb shelter for 35 years, what would you expect to find when you re-entered the world? I feel like if we choose to say that instead of Brendan Fraser movies, that's a cop-out. I appreciate her giving us the backup question. But anyway, Kylo. Can you go first, please?
Hello, Mom. This is Corey, Kylo Ren memes. You called me Kylo in a text for the first time ever, so now my friends think you call me that all the time.
It's on his birth certificate.
Yeah, good old Kylo. So I'm recording out of Simi Valley, California. I'm going to answer my mom's questions. I'm going to answer all of them for you, Mom. I'm going to also make it easy on the guys, I think. So my favorite Brendan Fraser movie, just where my head is right now, is The Whale. It's a fairly recent movie, and it's the one that Brendan Fraser got an Oscar for. And it's super dark and heavy and a fucking huge gut punch of a movie, and I love movies like that. It's just a fucking masterpiece, in my opinion. Very uncomfortable, but just quality. So The Whale, probably my favorite right now. That could change later. I don't like to commit to favorites of anything. But my least favorite right now, I'm going to say, is a movie that Brendan Fraser is only in very briefly, but he's in it. So it's going to kind of count. It's on his resume, I guess, which is In the Army Now. In the Army Now is actually a Pauly Shore movie.
Yes, it is.
It has a really fucking stupid premise, just like a lot of Pauly Shore movies.
In the Army.
It's a piece of shit, but the premise of this movie is, what if Pauly Shore and Andy Dick join the Army? They're not cut out for the Army. That would be wacky. And that movie is bad. And it's basically...
It's like Stripes, but not funny.
Like Stripes, but not funny. The biggest military propaganda movie since Transformers, probably. Not good at all. Since what? You got another one?
No, but you said since Transformers. Transformers came out 10 years after that.
Oh, well, thank you for the correction, Brett. Much appreciated. To answer my
Kylo.
mom's second question.
Wait, Kylo, what happens at the end of In the Army now? Is there like a mock battle that they win? Feel like I'm getting some memories.
They single-handedly, well, there's 4 of them, so I guess not single-handedly, but they defeat the enemy base in, they're somewhere in Central Africa. I don't remember. Oh, Chad. They're in Chad. They defeat the enemy base. They target it for bombing. They blow it up. They get out of the army. They get a bunch of money for being in the army. Now they're military heroes, and they open up an electronics store in Glendale, which has been their dream.
Not that you know much about it or anything. Right. All right, keep going, Kylo. Part B of the question.
In-depth. Brendan Fraser only has a cameo in that, by the way, but that movie sucks. I'll take any opportunity to take a jab at it. My mom's second question was, if you were in a bomb shelter for 35 years, what would you expect to find when you re-entered the world? That's the phrasing of the question. If that happened to me, and I re-entered the world, and it was anything other than the exact future of Back to the Future 2, I would go back in. If it was anything other than that, like, it has to be exact. I'm talking about Jaws 19, fucking self-lacing shoes. The
Cubs winning the World Series against Miami.
Exactly.
Hoverboard.
Self-drying jacket. The whole thing. A baseball bat that you can, like, keep in your back pocket that will extend so you can pull out a fucking bat on someone when it's time to throw down in a diner.
Hoverboard.
The whole thing, man. Back to the Future 2 fucking really set a high bar for futuristic shit, even though it takes place in 2015.
I got a question for you. Were you purposely trying to fat shame people? Talking about the whale, Corey?
By liking the movie? Am I fat shaming
No,
someone?
you said it's heavy, and then you said huge gut. So, like, do you want to apologize, or?
I stand by what I said.
Problematic.
Brett all of a sudden going
You said heavy,
woke.
and I was like, oh. Then you said huge gut. I was like, oh, God.
Huge
I was
gut
joking,
punch.
obviously. Yeah.
We're going to go a little out of order. Thanks for the answers, Kylo. Mikey, just because I think you've been like kind of the quietest on the pod and we need to get you in here. Can you go next?
Sure. Mikey recording from Chicago. Kylo's mom, obviously the best movie he's been in is The Mummy. The first one.
Ooh.
I think that's a great movie. I think it's really funny too, and he's the best part of that movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
And just looking through his IMDb here, I feel like I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but my least favorite would probably be, I was going to say The Whale. I don't have any intention of ever watching The Whale. I've never seen it, but I don't think it looks very interesting to me.
It's heavy, Mikey.
Are you fat shaming, Brett?
It has a good gut.
It's an emotional load.
It's a little bloated in the middle.
I'm going to guess,
Gosh.
I didn't even know he was in this, but G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra? I'm going to guess that's probably not very good.
That's probably not very good at all.
It says he's uncredited, but he's also Sergeant Stone in the movie. But I haven't seen that either, but I'm sure that's not a very good one.
Before we move on, Mikey, any thoughts on what will be happening in the world circa 2058?
Brother, I don't think we're making it there. I don't think... just on a world scale, I don't think lots going to be going on, if you know what I mean.
Well, this is Pappy, who is the next Weesis, recording from Goshen, Indiana. Favorite Brendan Fraser movie, Mrs. Ren memes? I'll go with The Origin of Pappy, Son-in-Law.
Oh, shit.
One of the greatest Pauly Shore movies ever made.
How many
Least
times is he
favorite?
collaborating with Pauly Shore? Oh, what's going on there?
Not enough.
Plays the same character in all 3 movies, by the way.
Stoner guy, yeah. Brendan Fraser had an interesting career. Remember, like, when Reddit was all about Save Brendan? Like, that was a whole movement on Reddit, and it kind of, like, probably why it
Let's go,
revitalized his
Brendan.
career.
Oh, yeah, he's had a big comeback.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was just in Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't want to take anyone's answer, but...
Brendanflation.
Brendanflation.
Least favorite? I don't know. Just looking at Letterboxd, I guess I'll go Crash. I didn't really like that movie. I barely even remember it. That movie, actually, the only thing I remember is Sandra Bullock falling down the stairs. That's Brett and I did a podcast on all the Oscar winners. But that's the only thing I can remember.
She crashed.
Literally, his wife is his wife in the movie.
Does she fall or does he push her down?
She falls.
It's all about that sensitive touch.
Is that the good crash or the bad crash?
You caught it, the 1997
Bad crash.
dark sex terror. That's the bad one to me. But
Didn't it win Best Picture?
yes, it won Best Picture.
It's like the most controversial one ever, maybe.
Not the most. No, I would say Shakespeare in Love probably is up there.
Fair.
Even though Pappy and I are Team Shakespeare.
2056 or whatever it's going to be. 58. I'm going to say we're still probably going to have some like geriatric president. So like maybe Mayor Pete will get his turn at that point when he's like 80 years old. And then I think, you know what feels antiquated? I bet there's not going to be like charging things. Like I feel like I'm going to come out and like look for a place to charge my cell phone and people are going to be like, dude, there's just electricity in the air.
Because of the nuclear fallout?
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just put it
Yeah,
up
makes
to your
sense.
head, bro.
There's electricity in our blood.
Those are my answers. Corey's mom.
You still have a part 2 here.
What's part 2?
Oh, no, you said it. You
Answered
said
it.
it. You're going to have old presidents. That's just kind of lame. Whatever. Okay, Brett, you can go. Fort Wayne, boy.
I'm sure your story will be better.
Okay.
That was for Stevie. Corey, I can't believe you didn't say Airheads.
I wanted to leave some of the good ones for you guys. Airheads is fucking
Well,
sick.
I was literally gonna pick Crash just so I knew I was gonna have one. I'm trying to break it down in between two. I only just saw the Mummy and Mummy 2 for the first time when we had COVID, and they were both awesome.
Wow.
But I will throw a really weird one out there to save some good ones, I guess. He's pretty good in the movie School Ties. That's a hard watch as well, but I'll say School Ties. And, I don't know, my least favorite, I don't know, man, I got nothing. I think I saw the Looney Tunes movie. I'll say the Looney Tunes back in action.
No one has picked the most obvious answer so far for bad movie, in my opinion. Like, there's one that is really bad.
Dudley Do-Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that movie
I did,
sucks.
but I haven't seen it. Like, yeah.
A horse's ass is very prominent on the poster.
I saw that shit in theaters. I remember kind of liking it.
I feel like Stevie would definitely pick the Scout, by the way, so.
Well, you have a part 2 to this question, Brett.
Yeah, I don't... You said it was a cop-out, now you're making everybody answer. I don't... What would we come up to in 35 years? I don't know. Obama said we'd all be underwater by 2015, so probably that.
Global warming?
I'm guessing it's going to look similar, it's just going to be... I don't know.
Except nuclear radiation, not not water.
Oh, so it actually is a bomb, not like what happened in this movie?
Yes.
It's going to be bad. I mean, it's going to look like, I don't know, L.A., Beirut, I don't know.
The question isn't if the world was nuked out. The question is if you were just in a time capsule for 35 years.
That's what I
and
thought, yeah.
So what's your prediction on the future? We're dancing around it. Give us something to chew
I don't
on.
want to know.
He doesn't want to say, man.
Optimistic? Pessimistic?
I don't know.
He doesn't want to know. I
pretty
feel like
pessimistic.
that's a good answer.
Yeah, I don't want to
actually.
know.
Guns are outlawed.
Brett is anti-time travel. Yeah, we have established that.
Well, hopefully nobody time travels. I mean, haven't you seen the butterfly effect? I mean, I haven't, but I know what it's about.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just rewatched that.
Time travel is pretty terrifying, but this is Josh from Goshen. I'll go ahead and bring up the rear here. What I was going to say, Pappy, is I have anecdotes that involve my mom with Brendan Fraser movies, and I'm going to try to categorize them into worst and best. So for worst, even though you took it already, Pap, I got to go with Crash. It was a movie that, like, I bought my mom because I knew it was supposed to be good and it was artsy, and we both watched it, and I feel like her, like, trust in my taste in movies like got knocked back a decade. She hated it. I hated it.
I hate it
It
when
was
that
really
happens.
uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to watch with a parent, that movie. But
Did you guys have a talk about like racial identity and everything after that, or was
no, I was older than that. But best movie is when I was younger. Whenever we'd go to PJ's video, there was a stretch where I was always trying to rent Bedazzled, and she wouldn't let me.
Oh, that's a good choice. Bedazzled is a good movie. The cover.
The same thing that drew me to it is what she was didn't want to see happen. So
Repelled her from it.
yes.
That's actually a good movie, though. That's a pretty entertaining movie.
I kind of wish my mom picked that one because I think this like movie, Blast from the Past, sits in the same place in our family. Like Blast from the Past and Bedazzled are both kind of like movies we would swap out with each other. Maybe it's like, let's watch one of these. So I kind of wish we went in that direction. Better movie in my opinion, but
I think they're both really funny movies, but let's get into the beginning of Blast from the Past. Blast from the Past, 1999. Is this correct, Kylo? You usually checking me on this.
99, it is correct. Directed by Hugh Wilson, who is the man who directed another movie that came out that same year, which was Dudley Do Right. 2 Brendan Fraser movies came out the same year, directed by the same guy. I don't know how they did that. Must have been like back-to-back projects. But this is also the same guy that directed the original Police Academy movie.
Interesting.
And created WKRP. Nice.
Pappy, get us into the very beginning of this movie. It's 1962 for a minute here, right?
Mm-hmm. It's 1962. It's, very 1962, right? I think it's at like a cocktail party type thing. Great hairdos on all the people. We got Christopher Walken with dyed black hair, looking great. Supposed to be a young Christopher Walken. And it's the height of the Cold War paranoia. And we see John F. Kennedy make an appearance, announcing that there's been a crisis in Cuba. It feels a lot like the Fallout video game. I don't know if you guys have ever played that, but it's
Fallout.
Like the music and everything, it's got like the same vibe. You know what I mean? Like the whole story.
Especially well, I shouldn't say especially, but I know the first 2 Fallout games very well, Pappy. And this kind of is like the first Fallout game story in a weird parallel universe. It's like the Vault Dweller, right? He comes out of the vault after being born there and living there his whole life to complete a quest.
Quest is to find a wife who's not a mutant.
Find a wife from Pasadena, South Pass preferably.
I'd say my baseball card collection is as complete as anyone I've ever seen.
Calvin? Hey, Calvin! Kennedy is going toe-to-toe with Khrushchev on television right now.
What? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
On the island of Cuba, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
Mikey, can you remember the chain of events that kind of go down that make it so this family is trapped away from society for 35 years?
Yeah, there's a brief mention of someone passing by the mom asking about the Cuban Missile Crisis. So that's on everybody's mind, is this uncertainty with the Cold War, Cuban Missile Crisis, nukes. And then there's just one guy, I don't know if he's doing some military exercise or something, but a guy flying overhead in a plane. He looks like he's in a fighter jet or something. I don't know what the significance of the type of plane he's flying is, but he has to eject, and his plane ends up crashing on the house after they had evacuated the house because they heard something on the radio about, I don't know, just Cuba or something, tensions rising in Cuba. So they ended the party early and headed to the bunker, and then the plane landed on their house, which triggered all of the nuke sensors that they had set up or whatever and locked them down for 35 years.
I like that it sounds like a ridiculous premise, but the movie's not like stupid. You know what I mean? Like Christopher Walken is this genius, super rich investor. Like the movie explains like why he's able to have this fallout shelter. Like, I mean, the man might drink warm Dr. Pepper, but he ain't stupid. He's got some sense about him.
He's like a mad scientist, right? He's like he has like the quirks of like a mad scientist in addition to the abilities of a mad scientist. Plus he's like super Christopher Walken-y. Like there's one moment in the movie, like mid-movie, when Brendan Fraser Adam is up on the surface and it shows Walken and his wife down there in the fucking shelter. And the wife's like sitting in a lawn chair, like drinking. And Christopher Walken like pops out of a window, like right behind her and scares her and she throws it. He shows up like Splinter in Turtles 3 or something. It's super funny. Like that moment, I'm like, this is like just a great example of Christopher Walken doing his thing, you know?
So his wife, whom you mentioned, is Sissy Spacek. She goes by Helen in this movie, and we know her from Carrie, right, Pat? Classic spoilers. I think that's a Jordan host.
Yeah.
It was.
It's one of the all-time great spoilers episodes.
Origin of mashed potatoes and gravy.
Did anybody else think there was a Carrie call-out in the movie?
How so?
When she sneaks out, she goes outside the door, and then there's this really bright red light on her.
Oh.
Nobody remembers that? I'll see if I can find it.
That is interesting.
I thought it was definitely like a Carrie vibe.
I think this movie does try to channel like some other movies, maybe not in a big way, but at least like enough to nod at them. I think the Back to the Future references are pretty strong, at least in one place particularly, aside from the general fish out of water story. But when they do emerge from the fallout shelter later, it's very like Back to the Future with like the nuclear hazmat suit on, I come in peace thing.
There's a Jack Nicholson like just news clipping at one point in that bar too. And Josh, I would say that the character of Helen, like, if not for booze, she would have murdered Christopher Walken like 15 years.
She's not built for the vault
they
life.
play it for laughs, but yeah, she's definitely got some depression, some big time depression.
I was going to pass this to you guys because, well, I'm really glad you brought that up, Pat. I feel like her depression while they're stuck in there for that length of time is kind of holding the movie together in some parts. It's a good counterbalance to Christopher Walken's like goofiness. And it's more realistic, I feel like, of the human condition. Like we would get pretty pissed off down there pretty quickly.
I mean, like, think about it. I'm not going to compare this, but I was thinking about it at the time. This is kind of like what happened. This is kind of like what happened to people during like lockdown and stuff. I literally have a friend who him and his first wife got divorced because they couldn't, live in the same house like that. They weren't ready for it. They weren't the type of people. And I'm like, this is kind of like how it was like that, just like way more intense and pre-internet. Internet, I think, helped people during COVID because you can actually follow up on people and have contact. But this would be just absolutely mentally break. I mean, I think it would break anybody. I can't believe it didn't.
There's a great shot where like they're watching The Honeymooners and Christopher Walken is just like slapping his knee, having the best time.
I hate this guy.
She wants to stab him in the face so bad.
She's just got her martini. That's the only thing keeping her together.
He's hilarious with like he's constantly snapping and doing all that kind of shit.
Yeah, he's pretty positive. He's definitely accentuating the positive.
It's a good day singing this song, and it's a good day.
I feel like he's riding this 35-year adrenaline high that he's basically maybe one of the only men. He's only like one of the only men that survived. He's able to provide for his family, and he's like, now he just gets to relax and like check on his fish tank every day. He's loving it.
Is there a problem?
No, Calvin, babies cry.
Noticed.
What should we call him? Well, I was thinking in light of the situation, we should call him Adam. That's not sacrilegious, is it?
No, I think it's just right.
And I was wondering if...
What do you want, Helen?
I want a bedroom ceiling.
You know you gotta get going if you wanna.
You got it.
With Sissy SpaceX character, just to harp on it one more time, does anybody feel like there's a little bit of a missed opportunity that like depression theme didn't really go anywhere? I don't know. It's mostly a comedy movie.
It's a comedy. Yeah, I think that's why.
It seemed like it could have gotten pretty dark.
Mm-hmm. This is, I mean, like, there's almost no real conflict for like 2/3 of the movie. Like, not real conflict. And Corey, on Big Dumb Movie 100, you said that you would never want to podcast a romantic comedy. This, my friend, is nothing if not a romantic comedy, right? That's what this is. It's a love story.
A lot of kissing.
I don't know if it's exactly the same as a romantic comedy.
There's kissing.
A lot of laughs.
Dancing.
Romance.
Comedy.
I don't know if this exactly fits.
A very sexy Brendan Fraser.
Baseball cards.
Baseball cards do it. Yep, that tips it over the line. There is nothing more romantic other than Pokemon cards, of course.
Oh, that would be in 35 years. You'd be selling your like ancient Pokemon cards for mega cash.
Can you imagine?
This is ancient Mew. Yeah.
You get your throat slit out on the Badlands of North America, walking around with a holographic Mewtwo.
Well, you bring up a point, Josh, that this movie is like someone's like nostalgic 60s movie that they made. Like, I think the writers, which I think was the director and someone in Brett's family, they are very nostalgic for the 60s, right? Kind of like if I made a movie at my current age, it would be very nostalgic for the 90s, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it would be as heavy as this, but if it was like the same premise, certainly would be. I think, they are really into this era.
Doesn't Christopher Walken say, son, like, go repopulate the earth and make America just like it used to be?
Back in the good old days.
That's his end goal for humanity. 1950s America.
I do like how they deal with like the elephant in the room. Like, not to jump ahead, Josh, but like the first person Brendan Fraser sees is like a black woman who's delivering newspapers.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Please don't be racist, right?
Yeah, how is this gonna go?
You know what? I'll say this to the movie's credit. It doesn't have a lot of like weird, like, I don't know, things that didn't age well that you might see in some other comedies from the 90s. Like about, I don't know, a weird like Ace Ventura kind of humor that doesn't age, I don't think this has a lot of that.
Well, it does have some multisexual stuff like Ace does.
I feel like she's treated with respect within the movie. She's just out there trying to give away, comfort and some lawn furniture. She's.
I didn't understand that.
Thing.
Lawn furniture? What is it? Is that something I'm not familiar with that goes on in those transactions?
You have to have grown up in the valley, my friend. Only locals would know.
Got a light, honey?
A light? Yes, I do. A light.
Good, thank you.
So, you survived the blast.
The blast? Honey, I've survived a host of things. Like the song says, a country boy can survive.
Did you say you were a country boy?
Cute little old man. If you want a boy, I can be a boy. And if you want a girl, I can be a girl. Hell, I can be whatever you want me to be.
Really?
Uh-huh. And it's all yours for a remarkably low price of $200. And if you act now, I may even throw in some free lawn furniture. Now, how about that?
I do think that we've lingered here inside of the Fallout bunker for long enough. Eventually, Spoilers Podcast and the movie breaks out. We take the elevator up to the surface. The first person that goes out is Christopher Walken. He just does like a quick espionage scouting thing. And he comes back and he delivers the bad news to the family that their cute little home in a fruit orchard is now like in the center of a ghetto, basically, that he doesn't recognize.
Funny you call it that, Josh.
Is that bad?
So that ghetto that you are referring to, it's in Canoga Park, California.
Is that bad? Is that a bad word? I don't... Am I offensive?
You can say whatever you want,
Totally
Josh.
fine word to use. I hate that area. It sucks, and they represent it as sucking in this movie, which I think is appropriate because it's the valley and it's a fucking shithole. But it's literally across the street from where I work.
Oh, man.
Really?
Literally across the street from where I work. At one point in the movie, you can see the office that I work in, the building where my office is, rather.
Timestamp.
The way they make it look like in this movie, it's just like barbed wire fences, dogs, trash, dumpsters, fires, bums.
So pretty much like California, LA, right?
Is it really
Not
that bad,
California.
Corey?
That's a misrepresentation. That's a very typical tactic, Brett. But it is the valley, and I'll say that does represent the
It's
valley.
by me. I'm just messing around.
Is there really an adult bookstore across from your work, Corey? Is that still there?
Is not there, but I would imagine at this point in history there was. I don't think adult bookstores are as prominent as they once were, Pappy.
You've never been to Pleasureland, which I haven't either. But
Right. Yeah.
I literally, guys, I've told you before, I've literally never stepped foot and will never step foot in either of the
That was
Pleasurelands.
fucking
This is so weird.
brilliant, Brett.
Oh, I love you, Brett.
Love you too.
Christopher Walken, he has, I guess, what we might consider a non-lethal heart attack. Gets no
A non-lethal heart attack.
Gets no medical attention, but is just kind of cool after a couple weeks. But anyway, that makes it so Brendan Fraser, the son, now 35 years old, he has to go up to the surface.
No sense of urgency to get his dad care in those 2 weeks.
He got lost.
It's all that red meat and pipe tobacco. It keeps the man strong. It'll be fine.
I think this is a place where the movie deserves us, like, it's good enough here. I think we can slow down a little bit, even to where there's this little camera trick right when Brendan Fraser is like pushing out of the doors to go outside for the first time. And it's all overexposed and there's like no details in the sky and it looks like white and gray. But then the camera, like, I don't know if they're literally like changing the exposure and the f-stop in camera or if it's a post-production thing, but it like crushes to this like deep blue and there are these like kind of gorgeous clouds and I guess it's mundane, but it's one of those things, you know what I mean, guys? Like every once in a while you look up at the clouds and you're like, oh shit, that looks phenomenal today for somehow the way the light is hitting it or something.
He's also never seen the sky.
And that. Exactly.
What? What is it?
The sky.
Sky? Where?
Up there.
I don't see anything.
Just look.
What is it?
That's how he would experience it. And then everyone on the street's like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Is it a plane?
That was pretty freaking funny. What is it? It's the sky.
The first guy stands so close to him. Like, that bothered me so much. If I was, like, looking up and some guy came and was, like, literally, like, 1 inch behind me, looking up at the sky with me, I'd be like, dude, back the fuck up. Like, what are you...
What if it was a 60-year-old guy?
Those are the kind of guys that would do that, too.
Yeah. I'm just glad you knew what I was talking about. Oh my god, I wanted to lick him.
Holy jeez, I wanted to lick him.
Yeah.
I think we're also like glossing over one of my favorite side characters. This movie has a lot of great like little parts, but the bar owner guy who we've seen transform to this like
Soda
bright-eyed bushy
Soda
jerk.
His script name is Soda Jerk.
Soda Jerk?
To this, like, he owns this like rundown bar and he's like looking for a sign from God, and up comes first Christopher Walken and then Brendan Fraser. And I don't know, every time we check in with him, it's just hilarious. The cult that he's building.
Does anybody have any deep thoughts? This might be a Stevie question if you were here, but like they really tell the whole backstory of Soda Jerk and his mom. Like they go through the disco era, the hippie era, the grunge era. He gets a tattoo. He owns it. It turns kind of to shit. Like He becomes a cult leader. There's like a lot of detail in this side character, you guys. What's going on with this? Is there a lesson?
A lesson? I don't know. Like,
I think it's just a funny gag.
I mean, there's a funny part too, because like this guy's like going on and on about like there's AA, there's HA, and there's CA. And you got to give yourself to a higher power, man. He's like clearly a drug addict, but like there's like this other hobo in there that's like making drinks while he's saying that, and he fills like one cup with a drink, and the other cup like isn't a cup. It's like one of those restaurant like candle cups.
Yeah,
like that's what he's gonna be drinking out of.
Classy.
Yeah, I think I know what you guys mean. It's just like a gag, but the fact that his plot furthers, like his character arc, is huge in this movie. There's just so much detail in it. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But thanks for bringing us back to that, Pappy. But like Brendan Fraser, to Mikey's credit, doesn't really care about his dad. He just wants to come out here and experience the world with this $3,000 he's got in his pocket. He's got no idea where he is. And I actually thought it was really cool and relatable when he realizes he's lost. And the only hint he has to where his home is that it's near an adult bookstore in LA. That's rough.
Which is filled with poison gas, as far as he's concerned. Like, that's what his dad tells him.
That's funny too when everyone runs. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
You ever get lost like that in LA, Kylo?
No, surprisingly. I do remember driving out to Hollywood sometimes in the days before smartphones, and it wasn't easy. But I think the depiction of him on a bus is pretty realistic, because he's next to some like crazy tweaker that looks like Kenneth Branagh for some reason.
I love that guy. He's awesome. He's so funny.
All eyes.
He's kind of nice and honest. He tells him where the grocery store is, and he tells him that he has a gun, but he also doesn't go waving it around or anything. So
No, he doesn't. But like he's like a tweaker guy, so like he starts getting like really uncomfortable by being asked questions. Like he's being asked too many questions, like, and he can't deal with it. He's like, get this guy the fuck off the bus. His like tweaker paranoia is probably going through the roof.
That's a really good point.
And it's like Brendan Fraser has no like sense of like volume control either, right? Like, he's like shouting these questions at this guy on the bus, and then like just yelling, "Bus driver, stop the bus!" whenever he needs to get off. Like, I don't know. Like, he's a real handsome guy, but he plays this like innocent. I think we call it like a boy later in the movie, like a good boy. He just got this like starry-eyed nature about him. That's, you know, this movie could be terrible if he wasn't so like endearing and fun to travel around with.
His parents did not do a great job of getting him transition from being a boy to a man, though.
Definitely not.
What should they have done? Got him like a sex robot or something? Like, it's a tough sitch.
Well, maybe they should have told him what sex was.
Fair point.
He's 35.
Watch me and your mother.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of brings me to what I was just going to say, Mikey, and I was going to toss it to you. Like, he's not in a hurry to get his dad's meds. And he is accomplishing this task of, like, re-upping the stocks and, like, all of the food and stores that, like, the family needs if they're going to go survive in the fallout shelter again. But Mikey, it's obvious he really has a soul mission in mind above all that.
Yeah, he's trying to get his dick sucked. But he doesn't know that's what he wants to call it.
Aren't we all?
Roadhead.
Like a secondary objective his dad gave him is if he finds a non-mutant healthy woman to bring her back down to the vault to repopulate the earth later, I guess, is the intention. But he is just so unaware of the things going on around him. Like, I don't know why he doesn't. There's a whole society happening. Like, it's not the nuclear fallout that they thought it was, and yet he's still trying to like buy all of this meat and get all of these errands done for his parents and stuff. I think he's just an idiot. I don't know why he wouldn't just go back to the vault and be like, everything's fine up here. Like, everything's normal, I guess.
If you travel 1 block, it's fine.
But he's trying to get a girl.
And he's lost.
This is just live thoughts from me right now, but this advice he gets from Christopher Walken, his dad who's like sick in the hospital, just find a non-mutant girl that's healthy and bring her down. Does that like kind of ring true with the advice like your dads gave you? It's like, dude, just find a girl that's like fine, and it's fine. I feel like,
dude, no.
I feel like that was kind of, I don't know. I might be alone in that.
You're asking if my dad said to find someone who's not a mutant and marry her?
Basically,
no,
yeah.
And not so many words, sure.
Just find someone who's like decent and just like settle. It's fine. Just do, like, I don't know.
Dude, man.
Healthy is a funny way to describe like a potential soulmate. Make sure she's healthy. You know, that's like a very like
Game of Thrones
1960s way. Yeah.
But
does she have childbearing hips?
Remember, he also thinks that there might be very few people and that they might be like mutated from radiation. So I think we're making too much of this, guys.
But he hasn't seen anybody mutated, and he continues to believe this throughout the whole thing, that like there's just mutated people somewhere.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you there, Mike. He's definitely ignorant or naive or whatever you want to call him. I'm just going by what I think Bob Happy said. Like, the dad's not going to know any better because, again, he thinks there's a bunch of mutated radioactive people up there. That's why he's like, make sure she's healthy, non-mutant, blah, blah, blah. That's my opinion.
Brendan Fraser's got to check into that Holiday Inn, find the Fuzzies channel from 1999, and just lose his fucking mind and not leave for days.
Spice Channel?
Like, this guy hasn't seen anybody besides his parents.
He's not going to get past the Girls Gone Wild commercial.
Yeah.
Everyone's at midnight.
Forrest Gump moment.
That would have been a better scene. Instead of watching the infomercial during the day, it's like the Girls Gone Wild commercials at like 2:00 in the morning. Just wired for days. That's why he sells all the baseball cards, just to stay in the hotel watching that for days.
I was going to ask Stevie, but did anybody else like collect cards or know anything about it? Like, did you cringe every time he like was bending one,
throwing them on the
dropping
street?
up and,
Dude,
yeah,
his
it's
handling.
like, dude,
You can't put them in a pocket, a denim pocket.
the littlest crease on like that, you lose like 90% of the value, maybe more. I was like, oh my god, Mickey Mantle rookie card is crazy.
That was very upsetting to watch, Brett.
Yeah, thank you. It hurt me a little bit because I collected cards as a kid.
But really, deep down, just find someone who's tolerable, make the commitment, dive in, and that's it. So speaking of non-mutant girlfriends, we got to get into her character a little bit. Kylo, Eve, we got Adam and Eve here, Alicia Silverstone. Like, tell us about her character. What do you presume her backstory is, and bring us up to date with her life intersecting with Brendan Fraser's.
Well, have you ever seen Clueless?
Yeah, many times.
She was Cher in Clueless before this movie. It's the same character in my mind.
No.
Yep, same character. She grew up.
She's not dumb.
She grew up. You know, she's not in high school anymore. She has a better head on her shoulders, but she's also more cynical. She's very cynical of the people around her. And one thing I like about Eve in this movie and her relationship with Adam is that she immediately is like, look, dude, I know you like have a crush on me, but it's not going to happen. As opposed to them like discovering they have feelings for each other later on, which of course they do, but they address it right away.
Who's Troy? Is he your husband or a boyfriend?
No.
Thank you!
Good, stop that. Don't do that. Listen, I know you like me, okay? I can tell, but you know what? A lot of guys like me. Not me exactly. It's more like my legs or my butt or my hair or some combination of the above.
I think it's the eyes.
The eyes. Great, an eye man. Anyhow, it never works out, okay? Not that you even need to know that. You look like crap. What have you been doing?
Been watching television. in color.
There's something like so wonderfully 90s about Alicia Silverstone and Brendan Fraser being the two leads, and they're at their peak. I can't say that Brendan Fraser was a hot guy back in the day. You've seen George in the Jungle. Man was ripped.
He's ripped.
He's tall. He's a good-looking man.
He's an icon, of that era, and he's just so likable, right? Like he's such like a likable dude.
He's so funny when he's in the car with her and they're playing that old ass music and he's just like snapping along with his goofy face.
Well, here's where it picks up. Wait for it.
The lamest drop ever.
Yeah, when it drops. Like the turn down for what moment?
Found, for you know that this is really love. Find a weed, and it goes round, round, round as it skims along with a happy sound as it goes along the ground, ground, ground till it leads you to the one you love. Then your love, you hold her round, round, round in your heart's a song with a brand new sound and your head goes spinning round.
This movie reminds me of Thor in a lot of ways. In that
Thor 1?
Yeah, the first Thor movie, in that it's like your classic like fish out of water movie, and the main character is like this good-looking but like very naive guy who's being like led around by this very attractive woman, and they eventually get together. Obviously, there's a lot of components about Thor that are different than this movie, but there's kind of like a general storyline that's similar, especially with the two leads.
Well, they definitely have superpowers each. Like Thor may have the strength and the hammer or whatever it's called, but Brendan Fraser has the multiple languages and he has the stocks worth $1 billion. Like he's got his own shit going on.
And the swing dancing.
And he's a phenomenal swing dancer.
And he's a boxer.
Swing dancing in the 90s, he could have had sex with so many women.
Yeah, late 90s swing came back. It was crazy.
Oh my God. He would have crushed it.
Alicia Silverstone gives him a hard no, guys. We all agree. We heard it happen. But there's a big chunk of the movie here, I think, where it's her grinding against that stance and changing her mind.
She gets really jealous at the nightclub. I think she might start going against it a little earlier than that, but like that's when she realizes she's like likes him.
Maybe I'm digging a little bit. Pappy, Kylo, do you guys see some clues before the dance scene? I feel like it was building for a while.
Nah, I'm clueless. Yeah,
done. I mean, you can't like be around this guy and I think not appreciate certain things about him, right? Because he's very kind to people. He has a great smile. Obviously, he's handsome, but like, I don't know how someone could like not like this dude. You know, who could be around this guy and be like, fuck this guy? So
it's got to be like immediately, right? Because she goes back to the hotel like I like the next day.
Yeah, but that's more of like she doesn't want to. She's trying. I think she's like trying to be better, and she didn't want to take advantage of him. Like, I mean, because that was hypocritical. She literally stopped that one a-hole from robbing him blind, but then she turned around and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she did like him a little bit, but I think she like just felt bad, guilty. I don't know.
It's kind of like good luck that like the first woman that he has any real interaction with is her. Like that's things kind of worked out in that way.
Plus Adam and Eve.
Hey, I'll take all these worthless stock certificates off your hand. Here's a crisp $5 bill for him.
By the way, the guy at the baseball card shop, the guy running the place, he is the bus driver in Hocus Pocus.
Huh. I thought you were going to say it was your boss.
Pappy, do you
He's
appreciate?
not an actor, he just was there.
Do you appreciate the budding romance of these two? I know you kind of mentioned it earlier. It's classic '90s, but any other details you want to throw in here about how this whole romance blossoms?
Well, we get what's his Firefly himself, Corey? What's Nathan
Fillion?
Fillion.
Captain Malcolm Reynolds.
Yeah. And that's like her old ex douchey boyfriend who has Calvin Klein's underwear,
Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren's underwear. Yeah. And it's, the antithesis of who Brendan Fraser is. He's like he's like conceited. He's like bragging about his new girlfriend, a model from Harvard. But
stupid.
She's a model from Harvard. I don't know. Alicia Silverstone's character, she has like more of an arc even than Brendan Fraser's. She's the one who's like being ground down to be less cynical. And I think like one of the early signs is when Brendan Fraser is wearing those roller skates around, and the way he just walks into the ocean and apparently pees himself at some point as he walks in the ocean, as she says later. But I don't know. She kind of gives him a little smile there. I think that's when it's starting to happen, Josh.
Dude, he just spilled a beer. What's your fucking problem?
He just Liam Neeson all over the place.
Oh.
Look it up.
I think the thing that I had to suspend disbelief for the most in this movie was the idea that Brendan Fraser could beat up Nathan Fillion.
You don't think he could?
No, I don't think so.
He's pretty jacked.
Nathan Fillion's pretty jacked. He's also huge.
I've never seen him this young in anything before. Nathan Fillion. So it was like, oh wow, that's like who they wanted to be Nathan Drake in all of those movies. But then we got Tom Holland.
Oh, those movies, yeah. Like, if you watch the way Nathan Fillion throws a punch in this movie, it's like pathetic. Like,
it's really bad.
It's really weird. Rabbit punches.
Dude, what about the house, Corey, that Alicia Silverstone lives in? It's freaking amazing. That house is like sick as
$2.4 million.
fuck.
It's like a couple $1 million probably, right?
Oh, yeah. A beautiful house. It's in some other movie, and I don't remember what, but it's been used in other filming locations.
Is it like
nice spot?
Saving Silverman or something? It looked familiar. I don't know.
Dude, that's not a bad guess.
It looked like the same house. I don't know if it is.
But that's definitely far away from where Brendan Fraser emerged from the ground. That's no Canoga Park house. I'll tell you that.
I had to go pee. Did we have anybody brought up Dave Foley yet? I think he's like awesome in this movie.
I don't think so.
We haven't talked about him yet. He plays Troy in the movie. He's Eve's friend. And to me, he's always going to be Chris from It's Pat. I'm sorry, guys. I know he has a huge body of work. But to me, it's always Chris, baby.
Who is he in that movie?
Chris.
I know, but what does he do?
Pat's lover.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he's also kind of androgynous, right?
Yeah, that's the joke. There's just another androgynous person.
Yeah. You know, it's not like news radio. It's Pat.
He's a pretty good guy too. Like I said, there's not for like a solid hour of this movie. There's not any like conflict. You know what I mean? It's not like Brendan Fraser's running into obstacles or needs to figure something out. It's just like set piece of him being cute and like a fish out of water figuring out how to do something, and Alicia Silverstone like just shaking her head. You know, but it works.
Yeah.
It really does work the whole time.
Brendan Fraser being cute was like a good way to describe not just this, but like some of his other movies from this era, right? George of the Jungle is just like Brendan Fraser being cute in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
And there's a few others too.
I don't know. That's what I thought this movie was. Like Blast from the Past, is that? I was like thinking of, is this going to be Encino Man? I had no idea what this movie was going to be.
Encino Man could also be titled Blast from the Past, yes.
Yeah.
Is this why Mrs. Kylo Ren memes, ma'am, likes this movie so much?
I think it's just like part of like our life from this era, like our family. Like we watched movies like this, you know, movies like Bedazzled, Airheads, not just all Brendan Fraser movies, but I think like maybe like late 90s comedies was just kind of a thing in our household. Rush Hour, good God, Rush Hour was on every day of my life.
We gotta do that.
Isn't the guy who makes fun of him? Isn't he in Rush Hour? He's one of the FBI agents.
Yes, he was. Yeah, from the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, Juntao, which we never brought up during the Patriot. I'm really mad at myself.
Oh my God, Juntao was in the Patriot. You're right.
Yes, I cannot believe it. I was thinking of it the whole time. He's Cornwallis.
Oh.
I feel like we've covered a lot of the movie so far. And Pappy, you've mentioned a few times that like there's not a ton of conflict, but I do think we start getting a little bit here in the last 30-ish minutes. A big part of it is that, like, Alicia Silverstone basically calls the cops on Brendan Fraser because she thinks he's crazy again for, like, the third time. You guys like this part?
Yeah.
It's not the cops. It's
basically.
It's a hospital.
When Brendan Fraser starts telling the story, this Brigsby Bear-esque account of the last 35 years of his life, I think she's right to, like, raise an eyebrow. And she's devastated. This guy's, as far as she's concerned, a psychopath. I mean, would you believe a woman who told you this? Like, you meet the perfect girl and then all of a sudden she's like, I was in a bomb shelter the last 35 years. It's a tough sell.
But he's so cute.
Especially after he cleans up a bit, right?
Yeah.
He gets more into classic Brendan Fraser. He gets a little bit of a better hairstyle, a nice suit for when they go out, like woman hunting. I also think the moment when they go out to the club, not the moment, but the scene as a whole, like the nightclub, Club 40s, is pretty memorable to me with this movie. Like, thinking back on it, because I haven't watched this in years, but thinking back on it, like the swing dance scene was like a big part of this movie that I remember.
That is such a weird part about the 90s. I know we touched on it earlier, but they're like squirrel nut zippers and like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy were huge. It's so weird. Like, what caused that cultural shift to happen? It wasn't like there was a big swing dance movie that came out or something.
Maybe this was it, man.
Mambo number 5.
Mambo number 5. That's exactly what it was.
Corey, can I ask you a quick question about California?
Sure.
I'm looking at all these filming locations, and there's a lot of canyons. Is that related to why it's called the Valley?
Oh, you probably see Topanga Canyon Boulevard. Am I right?
Yeah, that's you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I work on that.
I figured.
It's like a main street in the valley.
But Eve's house is 1972 Canyon Drive. But that's... So I didn't know if that was a... if you don't know, I wouldn't surprise... I mean, it's... Just was curious.
I don't know, man. It's the valley. You drive and you, like, descend into it. And it's like descending into the pits of hell.
Like, people from our age know the Valley from Saved by the Bell. I feel like.
And Clueless, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Josh. I got on a tangent. I was curious.
No, I love it. Got to fill some content here at the end because I do feel like the plot, as far as like being a lot of like meat to chew on, there's not
much to it. Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing in every movie, but maybe I've been passing it to you too much, Kylo. But let's try this here because Alicia Silverstone, this romance has been slow burning this whole time, and she finally realizes like she needs to find Adam and tell him how she feels and all that, but basically she's lost from him like he was at the beginning of the movie from his home. And do you want to describe the scene where she kind of finds him and what happens from there?
Yeah, it's super corny, like when she finds him. And I, again, don't remember this movie super well. I remember the dance scene pretty well and a few other things here and there. But she comes across him in about the area where he was reported to be earlier with her friend Troy. But like, it's like they run into each other's arms and have this embrace. And I'd say this is probably like the only moment that's similar to like a typical romantic comedy of this era. Like the reunion and embrace and the recognition of the same feeling. But to me, it's like so weird. It just feels like I thought it was going to be a dream sequence is what I thought.
Kind of too, right? Yeah, I'm with you.
Josh, you think Brendan Fraser died and this was all a dream?
You mentioned Brigsby Bear.
Nathan Fillion actually punches him out and kills him at the bar.
Oh my God. He smacks his head on the counter.
Yeah.
Cracks it open.
Modern street fighting overcomes 40s boxing or whatever.
I thought the perfect opportunity for him to die would have been, and it would have been hilarious, when he gets in the ocean, he's eaten by a shark, and then like it ends, and I would have really respected that. I know Stevie would have respected that.
Yeah, Josh, I do think the reconnection here of them is just a little bit easy. And, you know, this isn't like a super complicated or like heavy, deep movie, but I think in my mind, where the movie excels is like in the middle, starting at maybe like the 35-minute mark when Brendan Fraser like comes up from the vault dweller has left. From there on, it's pretty watchable, enjoyable, cute, funny, got some good moments. And then we get to this ending part where they kind of got to like wrap up and put the bow on top. And that part I think is like basically worthless as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't think there's anything good after that.
Nothing good after that.
I like the bar owner, like, helping him move all the stuff. Like, that's kind of funny. He's like, pick it up, boys. And they're chanting, like, don't touch my elevator or something while they're doing it.
Give us a sign! That's all we ask! Just give us some sort of sign! Just show us that we're not alone!
It's weird, too, because it's not like anybody did anything wrong, you know? Like, usually there's that, like, I don't know. I'm just thinking of like Aladdin. Like there's like that underlying tension of like, oh, Aladdin's lying to Jasmine about who he is. And when it comes out, then it's like, you know, he knows he fucked up. And then he has to like figure out and learn something.
Be like, yourself.
Nobody actually like learns anything, you know, other than like
Alicia Silverstone learns that she can be rich.
Yeah.
He has the, you know, I was thinking, like, is he going to come out with, like, not that much money from the vault? But no, he got reverse inflation. He got deflation? Is that? I guess that's
compound interest.
Investing.
Well, the movie has to even, like, directly say, like, well, at least I liked him before he knew he was rich. Yeah. You know, it's like they had to, like, check that box so she's not being shallow.
Part of the time, anyway.
That scene where she does reconnect with him, though, Corey, I think there's a little bit of cool movie making when it shows like a different angle of the same characters and little scene sets that we've seen before from the beginning as she gets closer to him. I found that like maybe cathartic a bit. But I think one little part that we glossed over, and I think it's a huge catalyst towards maybe like the 75% mark of this movie, is when Troy tells Brendan Fraser that Alicia Silverstone doesn't need a nice boy. She needs a nice man. Yeah. I feel like there's really is a switch that goes off in Brendan Fraser's head. He needed like a friend this whole time to just give him some like straight up advice. He didn't need a parent or a mom or a TV show. He just needed like one Troy. I kind of like that.
I don't think we mentioned this either, but I like how Brendan Fraser just assumes that Troy's like a happy guy. Like he doesn't know that he's like a homosexual. And when Alicia Silverstone's like, he's gay, he's like, good for you. Like the most sincere.
Well,
like,
we try.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know. He starts blowing on her cut. He's like telling her what to do. I'm with you, Josh. There's like a shift in his eyes. It's like, oh, this is Daddy Brendan now. Not a little boy anymore.
Starts tying her up.
Jeez.
I thought it was just a cut. It was just a cut.
Show you how we do things in Vault 13.
Do you guys want to get into, I guess before final thoughts, Mikey, how does this movie end? Just give it to us straight up.
Well, of course, we got two beautiful white people just being obscenely rich in the end. Just having everything in the world handed to them on a silver platter once again.
Life's good.
Once again.
Life's good.
Earned.
When's my turn, baby?
And they end up just recreating Christopher Walken's house, his dad's house, just in the middle of nowhere. And I think like at the end, it's his dad just mapping out another bunker. Is that what he's doing. He's pacing.
Oh, is that what? You know what? I
China's
have no
gonna
freaking idea
attack.
what he's doing.
Yeah, he seems still paranoid at the end of the movie, so I think he was just skeptical of. He says something like, "The fucking commies, they're brilliant" or something. I don't know what is going on in his head, but he thinks something is gonna happen, I guess, and he's pacing out. Just more room for the bunker, and then it kind of zooms away from the house. It ends kind of weird, actually. It's kind of an abrupt ending.
I guess maybe Brendan Fraser realizes something that all of Christopher Walken's friends knew at the beginning of the movie, which is that this guy is a little crazy. And I think maybe now Brendan Fraser being separated from him for a little while, I should call him Adam, realizes that, okay, maybe my parents are a little bit like off the wall, like in a way that I think a lot of people kind of feel about their parents or realize like maybe my parents are a little crazy in their own way, but that's okay. Just build them a house away from everyone and they'll be fine.
Did you wish at all that they had just built the house like in the valley and bought that restaurant and just built it right there?
Right on Topanga? No, thank God. I think it's good that he kind of gave them like a place secluded for their own sanity.
And you thought your parents were weird. It's truly amazing what you can get done when you have unlimited funds. Do you know you can have whole houses built in just a matter of months?
It's like the Garden of Eden, don't you think?
All you have to say is this: I don't care what it costs. And then, of course, you've got to really mean it, which no one ever does.
It's pretty abrupt, too, when, like, Alicia Silverstone's voiceover kicks in.
Yeah, that comes out of nowhere.
It's like, oh, she was telling us the story the whole time?
Yeah. She closes the book on their kids.
Yeah.
I was looking at the script, and in the script, at the end, they say that they're eloped to the parents. That doesn't actually happen in the movie, right?
A scene of them getting eloped?
It's just like a little dialogue that happens. No, that they're like, we are married. There wasn't a wedding, but we got eloped, Pa. Like that, like presumably in that last scene when they're in the shelter again, they're married.
Yeah.
But that kind of happens.
Eve's gotta lock that shit down quick. No prenup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what a prenup is, so she's gotta get it done.
He thinks divorce is illegal in California.
He probably knows what a prenup is, right? I mean, he learned. He just didn't learn social stuff. I don't know, maybe not.
Also, it's very, like, 90s that their fallout shelter becomes, like, a themed restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a rainforest cafe, but it's like a fallout shelter. Like, that was, like, just a very 90s thing.
They built all these places, like, right on top of it. Like, so strange, right? But I guess it's okay in a comedy. It's just, like, they're doing construction there, and they're like, we got this. What is it? I don't know. Just fucking build over it. Who gives a fuck? Like,
it's a septic tank. Don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
Leave the shit
It's
lie.
like, that's not how that works. You would take that out.
Union jobs.
Yep.
Union jobs.
Is that like the weakest cement concrete of all time? That door just busts right through it?
Yeah, dude. It is, right? Like, they just, like...
That's a
Paper
freaking
mache
concrete
door.
slab, dude. That's not coming... That's not busting through that. But it's in the script.
He gets crushed
One of the things that...
in the elevator.
that you guys might not have picked up on in this movie is that, like, Brendan Fraser, his character Adam, like, vaguely references, like, the incident or, like, the event or, like, rebuilding, things like that to people he interacts with in the movie, like Troy.
Oh, yeah.
What they're referencing is the 94 Northridge earthquake, which, like, destroyed a big part of the valley.
Oh, boy.
That, like, they rebuilt the highway in 6 months. Is that what that...
That's what that's in reference to, yeah. Like, so when he says, like, you guys rebuilt pretty quick, they're like, rebuilt? Oh, yeah, I guess we did. People think he's talking about the Northridge earthquake of 94.
Right.
I think we're in final thoughts, but I just want to mention that last shot of the movie pulling out from, like, a helicopter shot showing Christopher Walken. He's, like, pacing out the steps on his new property or something. And
yeah,
that's the end. It's a really happy ending. Final thoughts, boys.
You hear Sissy Spacek just cock a gun and shoot it As it's zooming out.
There's 2 shots fired.
That'd be funny. Classic 90s soundtrack to me. I dug it, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of music in this. A lot of music I'd never heard
Mikey,
of.
so much music.
The score, Pappy, I don't know if you felt this way, same as I did. I think you might have. Score is very awkward and clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
It does not fit in a lot of the moments where it's inserted. This movie relies more on the soundtrack than the score, and rightfully so, because it doesn't know how to use its score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not very memorable, kind of weird when it comes up, like you said, but it's, I don't know, it's a very 90s movie, so when the soundtracks are playing, it works much better. Corey, I wanted to ask you a final thought question. As the 90s expert on the pod, as someone who has devoted a huge chunk of their life to loving the 90s, why do you think so many people on Reddit in the early 20-teens, mid-20-teens rallied around revitalizing Brendan Fraser's career? What was it about this streak of movies that your family loved that is just so endearing about him?
It's the wholesomeness of Brendan Fraser, I think. And a lot of that is probably just the characters he played, right? More so than the man. Maybe in some ways, an unspoken recognition of the wholesomeness because of movies like this, or Bedazzled, where he's also a wholesome, innocent, kind of naive guy that gets mixed up in a crazy situation. Obviously, The Mummy is a very well-known action banger, but that wasn't what he did a lot of. He got there, and it kind of hurt his career eventually because it hurt him physically. But Brendan Fraser has this wholesomeness to his movies. He never plays a big villain of the 90s. He's always some likable guy with a great smile, No,
I think you're right on. People remember The Mummy, but you're right. A lot of his career is that character. And it's, he never really had anything off screen to betray that either. You know what I mean? He kind of just stayed locked in people's mind vault, bomb shelter vault, as who they remembered him being in the 90s, such a good guy. And then whatever it was, /r/the Brendan or Save Brendan or whatever, I don't know. It was just people just tapping into nostalgia, basically.
I gotta disagree.
Right?
I think he owes Pauly Shore everything. I think he really made his career.
Pauly Shore. Thank God for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll get his own subreddit someday and he'll be a thing again.
It's just Pauly Shore assaulted me on Topanga Drive or whatever.
Damn.
I do have a final thought. There's a line that Brendan Fraser says at the 40s nightclub scene to he's going to go talk to a woman, right? Eve is it's not going to happen between us. So you got to go meet someone. So he musters up the courage to go talk to his first woman. And his pickup line is pretty funny. He says, I seem to have lost my Congressional Medal of Honor around here somewhere.
And she loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not, right?
He is really funny.
Hi.
Yes?
I was wondering if you could help me. I seem to have lost my Congressional Medal of Honor around here somewhere.
Now that's a great one.
I find a little fault in the whole stocks plot and how he's super rich at the end. Only in that those are his parents' stocks. How can he...
He gives them to him, though.
Yeah, he hands them to him in a bunker.
He put him in his name.
From a bunker? From a bunker, Al?
From a treehouse, Marv?
That's my final thought.
It
I just feel like
with me.
Those...
Yeah, he did have him in his name.
All right. Listen, just let me have a final thought. Jesus.
But it's wrong, though. Your final thought is wrong.
Perfect. I think that brings us into yes or no's. No's.
Real quick, final thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I did the echo, though.
It was good. I'll say
Infinite
that. The AD on this movie, Luis Desposito, is a huge executive producer now for Marvel. He is credited on basically every Marvel movie since Iron Man. So he's like a big figure in Hollywood, and he worked on this. Also, Brendan Fraser, who I call Brendan Fraser, his name is Fraser. That everyone says it wrong, including me just now. The correct pronunciation is actually Fraser. And I remember this because in the 90s on Comedy Central, there was like a Comedy Central commercial that would come like in between shows. You remember like networks would like advertise themselves, like their upcoming shows on commercial breaks? One of them was for like The Daily Show or something, probably before Jon Stewart. And the little like advertisement was like Brendan Fraser looking at the camera saying, "It's pronounced Fraser. And if you don't pronounce it that way, I know where you live." So it was like his little like funny moment. It's like, watch Brendan Fraser tonight on The Daily Show.
Hi, I'm Brendan Fraser. You're watching Comedy Central. That's Fraser, not Frasier. If you say Frasier, I know where you live.
Corey had mentioned that Eve's house was in another movie. That movie is in the movie Chinatown. Is that what you were thinking?
Nope.
That's a Chinatown house, so.
Very nice.
I don't know what that is.
Practically the same movie.
Yeah.
So there I
Couldn't
was.
be more similar scripts.
Forget about it, Adam. It's Chinatown.
Well, Mrs. Kylo Ren memes Gina did not specify that Kylo had to go first in yes or no's. So I'm going to say let's go in the reverse order that we went in before. Is that okay?
That's you first, right?
Yeah, and I guess despite this huge glaring plot error with the stocks, I guess I'll give this movie a yes. Really ruined a lot of... No, I'm just joking. This is one of those like kind of like romantic comedies that tricks you into watching it, disguises itself really well. It's got like this sci-fi element to it. It's got the Brendan Fraser cuteness element to it, and naive Encino Man kind of stoner character-ish. I know he's not stoned in this, but he's so dumb he might as well be stoned for like part of it. It's just a fun movie to watch. It's a good comedy. I love reviewing comedies with Kylo. It's always a good time. Love your thoughts on it because it's always like so different from mine, truly. But yeah, Brendan Fraser. You said this earlier, Pappy, but Brendan Fraser, opposite of Alicia Silverstone, definitely got a stew brewing in this movie. I'll give it a medium yes.
I wouldn't say he's dumb. Again, he's just really sheltered.
He's slow to come around.
He's a big, beautiful idiot.
It takes him
He
a
knows,
good
like,
third
4
of the movie to
languages.
really...
Well, it's like a D&D stat, Josh. High intelligence,
Wisdom versus-
low
yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah.
Right.
Low perception, too.
Street smarts, low.
Decent strength.
Charisma's through the roof, though. Obviously, as we saw in that ballroom scene. But Brett, I think you're up for that next yes or no.
So I started this movie at work today, and I was kind of like slogging through it. I liked the beginning part, but I was getting nervous about when he ended up leaving. And then I got to the part where he is in the grocery store, and he's talking to the butcher, and I was like, I just don't think I can do this movie. That kind of stuff's super awkward to me. And like literally right after that, I loved every moment after that part. And I think somebody might have mentioned it. Like, there wasn't a lot of fish out of water, goofy stuff like that because he's with Eve so early in the movie. Like, early in his journey. So, like, she helped him. She didn't make for any really super awkward moments. Like, if it would have been just him walking around not knowing how to handle money and not knowing anything about beef, like that, I wouldn't have enjoyed that. So I know, like, Corey was all for that part, and I like some of it. Like the bus part's pretty funny, like stop the bus right now or whatever. But once it got to the part where he hooks up with Eve to get all that stuff done and you meet Dave Foley, I thought it was just like a word that Pappy likes to use, charming. I thought it was super charming. I'm gonna give it a solid yes. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I wouldn't, obviously I don't think it's a great movie, but I dug it, and I can actually see myself watching it again. So, solid yes for me.
Pappy from Goshen, thanks again, Mrs. Ren Memes, Corey's mom. Thank you not only for being a patron, but thank you for giving birth to Corey. The world is a better place because Corey's around. I love Corey.
That's debatable.
Love it. Love you.
I don't know. I can't get over, and I'm sorry if I keep harping on it, like the screenplay for this is just so different. Like I just double checked. There's a full 35 minutes of this 2-hour movie before Brendan Fraser emerges from the vault. Like that's a decent chunk of time to set that up. And even though the ending feels abrupt in a lot of ways, I mean there is like a pretty solid 5 to 10 minute, like, okay, here's what happened to the parents, here's what happened to the fallout shelter, here's what happened, to the weird soda jerk guy. Like it's pretty neatly like tied up. This is just a very happy place movie for me. It reminds me a lot of a Patreon pick, The Castle, that we did with Dave Mello. I actually probably got to reach out to Dave Mello and recommend this movie because it feels right up his alley. But like even the conflict within this movie it's not like Brendan Fraser feels betrayed that Eve called, the psych doctor on him. That they never really hurt each other in any emotional way. It's just more of like the bizarreness of their circumstances and kind of overcoming that. And they each grow a little bit. Brendan Fraser grows up. Alicia Silverstone, learns to trust a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to give this a pretty hard yes. It kind of flew by for being a 2-hour, a romantic comedy, I would call it. And I really enjoyed it. It's a good vibe blast from the past. I will probably watch it again, actually. I quite enjoyed it.
Thank you, Mrs. Ren Memes, for your support. Thank you for Corey as well. Like Pap said, I think it does have it has a weird script. Like we said, it doesn't really have a conflict. It wraps up really quick. We don't see Brendan Fraser out and about interacting with the outside worlds until like 40 minutes in. It's got a lot of things that shouldn't go for it in terms of how the screenplay plays out. But it does work. It ties itself all together. It all comes together in the end. It's definitely just a bizarre feeling movie in my eyes. I don't know how to describe it because I don't watch too many rom-coms. And I usually think they're not great movies, but this was a pretty decently funny movie and it was entertaining. I love Christopher Walken in this. I love Sissy Spacek in this. I thought they were both really funny. And just an interesting movie. Just the way that it presented itself and how the lack of conflict, like the conflict is more of like just how naive he is in the world rather than like some outside force keeping these two people apart, was an interesting idea. But yeah, it's a light yes for me. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I don't think I've ever seen it before, and I didn't hate watching it for a first time. So, light yes.
Thanks, y'all, for your thoughtful ratings, and thank you again to Patreon, Gina, Kylo Ren moms. I've been working it out.
Stevie loves
That's
this movie.
better, right?
I like
Stevie
that
loves
one.
this movie too. He really wanted to be all. He loves this movie. He just didn't get a chance. So
Okay, but Stevie's opinion pales in comparison to Kylo Ren mom's thoughts here. Can we all just agree?
Okay. Sure. I don't know what that means, but I agree.
I think he's telling me to go next.
Please.
I'll take it.
Please.
This is
Kylo Ren mom's
This is
son.
Corey, the son of Kylo Ren moms. I'm Kylo Ren memes. I think I'm trying to put this together. Before I go into my rating, my final thought is very brief. In the 1991 version of their bar, where it turns into like a kind of goth punk biker bar, which probably doubles as a tattoo parlor. There's a Primal Rage arcade cabinet, which is very nostalgic for me.
Ooh.
That particular arcade cabinet. That game is a piece of shit and sucks. But it is, Josh. It sucks. It's like Clay Fighter, but it had a great novelty to it. So I respect it for that. This movie, I'm going to give it a soft yes. This movie, I think, is pretty good right dab in the middle, but I didn't love the first 30 minutes of it. Like, it was okay to get through. It was fine. It was maybe struggled with a few points, but eventually we got to the Brendan Fraser fish out of water, developing this love story, trying to find a wife or a girlfriend for him, and things get a little bit more interesting there. It's great to just see him on screen. We don't see him on screen for quite a while, but when we get him, it's good. You know, I love this guy, kind of just a nostalgic actor for me in a way. Like, I see his face and, you know, it kind of takes me back. This, again, one of those movies that we used to watch at my house, me and my brothers, my mom. It was just on a lot. And I think it's in a special place in my mind. But, Mom, I'm going to tell you this. You should have picked Bedazzled. That would have been the one, man.
Oh. Yeah, Elizabeth Hurley's tits. That's what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Bags.
You made me this way, mother. A lot of the movies that we used to watch at home, like, I feel like we've kind of already talked about on Big Dumb Movie a lot, and maybe somewhat on Spoilers to a lesser degree. You know, I watched It's Pat more than once when I was a kid, guys. I had the DVD. We did that here on Spoilers. You know, we did the It miniseries. That was always playing in the house. I got into it. And then after I was over it, my brother got into it, so it was still always playing. I like some things about this movie, for sure. I had a lot of fun watching it again, though, kind of, if for nothing else, the kind of drudging up the nostalgic feelings. And I enjoyed talking with you guys about it. But it's a damn shame Stevie wasn't here. That's all I got.
I have one final thought of final thoughts after all those yeses. Have you guys ever heard that old-timey saying from your parents, say your P's and Q's?
Mind your P's and Q's.
Well, either way, I think
That's trivia.
we all know P's are probably like saying please, right? But the Q's, what's saying your Q's?
It's pints and quarts.
No one really knows, but in this movie, everything you
Please and thank yous.
That's what it is.
No, it's not.
Thank yous.
But you wouldn't know this from watching the movie, but every time Adam, Brendan Fraser's character, says thank you, he's actually saying thank dash Q. Thank Q. It's in the script, so I believe that's saying that's the cues, and that makes sense. You want to say please and thank you when you're being a polite dude, right?
Yes.
That was a long and turbulent landing for a little bit of runway.
Long and turbulent. Classic Spoilers fashion.
That's never like perplexed you guys? Say your P's and Q's, mind your P's and Q's.
It's pints and quarts.
No, it's
That's
not.
what it is.
Mind
No,
your
thank
pints and
yous.
quarts. That makes no sense, Pappy.
Pappy, I don't know if you're right. I think there's a lot of like people arguing over what it is. So
I've heard that before, Josh. I know. You're right. For once, you're right, Josh. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, can we just keep going on with the show?
Can I have one final thought, Josh? Is
Sure.
that okay?
Yeah.
There are a couple segments that we always do on spoilers. I think we almost missed one Brett's Death Corner? There's got to be some
I
no.
know.
dead people.
None of the
from
main,
this.
none of the people are dead.
Lame.
I know. I actually made sure I did that research, but they're all alive. Even the. I mean, yeah, all the main people are alive.
Are you sure?
Sorry, Pap.
Was one of the swing dancers like mauled by a bear at any point? Did you check?
That'd be pretty cool. Eaten by a shark?
Let me look up swing dancer. And
What
see if I
about
can find anything.
what about
Tied
any of
by
those
swing
junkies
dance.
he skates by on Venice Beach?
Oh yeah, those
Oh,
were
those
real.
were real junkies. Yeah.
No one is that good of an actor.
Let me see.
Well, unlike Pappy, my final thought was supposed to tie into the trivia. So, if that's okay, I'll continue on with that final segment. Pap, is that good? Are we good?
How many final thoughts are we
Yeah.
going to get to tonight?
No, this transition's worth it. Bring it home, Josh.
I just wanted to bring up the script because tonight the trivia is script tease. We're going to go through.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you a couple words. I'm going to tell you a couple words or terms, and you're going to tell me how many times it was said in the movie. And Pappy, I didn't just merely command F and see how many times it was there. I went through, and if it had to be said in the dialogue. So
Ooh,
it's not just
that's dedication.
Yes, it's a little bit more well done. But I will say, the script isn't like the final script, what appears on screen. It's very close, but it's like the official submitted script of the movie. So I'm not gonna like take crap for any like small differences in that. But Kylo, you're gonna go first on this first one. We're gonna go through a couple, and the way this works, just as a reminder to people, is that the number you're away from the true answer is the amount of points or strokes you get, and strokes are a bad thing. So you want at the end of the 5 rounds, you want to have the least amount of strokes, okay?
And these are said by a character in the script.
Yes.
Right? It's okay.
Correct. And I tried to pick words that like kind of said something about the movie, you know, right? So the first one is sex. We're going to go in that same order we started the pod with.
So you want me to say how many times someone says sex in the original script of this movie?
Yes. Thank you for really boiling that down. Appreciate it.
No problem. Not a lot of sex in this movie. I'm going to say maybe 3. I'm going to go with 3. 3 sexes. Ah, yes, the 3 sexes.
Mikey.
I'll say 4.
Pat.
2.
People are really circling around these low numbers, Brett. What do you got?
You haven't seen nothing yet. I'm gonna stick with what I originally thought. 1.
Now, if the word multisexual were in the script, would you consider that to be one of these 3 words, boys?
No.
That's up to you.
Depends
Kylo?
if it helps or hurts me.
What do you think?
Look, man, don't make me play trivia
I counted
and
it.
write trivia.
It's 3. Kylo is perfect.
Corey, what?
3 exactly. It makes sense. Gonna go in
Yeah,
reverse
that's-
order.
Multisexual and sex are not the same word, but okay.
I'm going to count it, and it was 4.
Multi-sexual. Come on. Give me a break. The next
How
one.
many times does the root word appear said by a character in the original
Stop. It's a judgment call on that one. Next one is a little more straightforward. I don't think this is the root word from any other words, but it is poultry.
Oh, we're not going in the same order. Okay,
Reverse
sorry.
order.
Snake draft.
Reverse.
Now, when you say poultry, like, is chicken count?
That's not the
I don't
same
think-
thing.
I don't think
That's
we're
not the
using
same thing at
synonyms.
all. Come on, Brett.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Where does beef lie?
Pollo?
Oh, man, I don't remember them saying it at all, but I'm sure they did. 7?
Pat.
4.
3.
Nuclear bomb.
I'm going to say 2 because I'm last, right?
Yes.
So I know there's one line for sure where David Foley says maybe he's in a cult that has a thing for poultry or something to that effect. I'm going to say 2. It was probably in there one other time.
The night time is the right time.
Again, the correct answer is 3 for this one. Mikey hit it on the head. I'll give you guys score updates in just a minute. I'll do a quick calculation after this, but we are going to move to the word shit. Kylo, you are up first on this one.
So then I won't explain my math, but I'm going to say...
Damn.
3. They're all 3.
I'm going to say 4.
I'm thinking there's more shits in the original
Shits and gigs,
screenplay.
huh?
I'm going to say 6. Go on a limb.
Am I up?
Yes.
I was going to say 7, so I'll stick with 7. But the answer's 3, I'm sure.
It's 3.
I do like that line early in the movie where they like Sissy Spacek like slips and says shit in front of Brendan Fraser, and they try to make it sound like it's a French word for real. Thought that was kind of a cool scene. But anyway, it is 6, and Pappy, that was your time to shine on that.
We're playing pretty good guess 'em, boys.
Yes, we are. I said we're going to do 5 rounds, so that's 3. We'll give a quick score update after this next round. So, damn it. I just got to say, I really wanted to do the word spoil, but they only said it once, and I thought, I didn't know this game would be so close, so I'm going to strike that one out. Just doesn't seem fair. You guys are like 2 on the money for this. Okay. Moving on up the list here. How many times is the word baseball said by a character? Brett, you're first.
5.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's more because I think baseball card is a root word.
Yep, I just remembered that.
I'm going to say 10.
25.
11.
Here we go.
Baseball is said 10 times. Pappy is on
What?
fire.
And I got sex if you didn't count.
Don't
whatever.
lie. Shut up. No, you didn't.
You're saying baseball cards every other line in this movie.
No problem. We'll just sell
They
another
cut out
baseball
half the
card.
baseball cards from the original script.
Yeah, right. All right, let me calculate.
The whole
Talk
movie
amongst
revolves around
yourselves for a
baseball
second.
cards.
For a second.
Hey, actually, Pap, I got something
Yeah.
for you. Good news.
Yeah?
The lady who played the post office lady, she's dead.
Oh, well.
Thank God.
Cue up the Bee Gees. Do you have a cause of death?
No, but tell me you did not think that was Humphrey Bogart.
It looks a lot like him.
That guy's known for being a Humphrey Bogart lookalike. He's dead too.
So is Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
The yays are cracking me up, Mikey. Give me one more second. Almost there, boys.
Some of the people from the party are dead too, but they're like, I don't really know what their names are. There's someone who's named Drunken Whore or something like that. But
Drunken Whore's dead?
I met
no.
her.
No.
That's my
Oh,
ex.
John F. Kennedy, JFK, Jackie Gleason, Castro, Khrushchev, they're all dead.
Kennedy?
Yeah, they're all dead.
Brett, who do you think killed Kennedy?
It was drunken horror. They killed each other.
Drunken horror? There was a firefight.
There was a firefight. I don't know. I know I read this mafia book, and one of the mafia guys was bragging about killing him. So, old Jewish man's dead too. I guessing he's the guy in the bus, and I could have bet money that he's dead since he was like 90 in the movie. So, Monty Ash, rest in peace.
Extended Brett death segments on spoilers.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will make
something.
will this make the final edit or not? I'm not sure, but
No movie is ever safe from Brett's extended death credits.
Now I gotta find out how she died, Pat. Hang on. Go ahead, Josh. I'm
the
ready.
alternate that's getting dropped before we do this last one is the word ma'am. I thought was kind of an interesting one, something that Adam/Brendan Fraser was saying a bunch. But this is a really tight race. Mikey, you kind of whiffed with that last one. You're at 18, still within striking range, I'd say. Brett, you fell behind with the poultry one. You're at 12. Kylo, you have had an excellent game. You're at 5 total strokes after 4 word teases. But Pappy, according to my calculations, you are at 2 total strokes after 4 script teases. Excellent job so far. I'm going to make you go first because you're winning, okay? We're going to go in that order.
Yeah.
So it's Pap, Kylo, Brett, Mikey. The word is bomb.
Bomb. Would think a couple times at the beginning, and then
They dropped the bomb.
maybe a couple times at the end. So I'll probably 6.
Damn.
Kylo.
I was gonna say 6. So I'll say 5.
Mikey,
But either
I
way,
gotta go big, man.
I'm done. Well, I don't think it's big, so I don't think that would help me.
Unless it's like 4 or 3.
That's not big.
No, I still think it's 6. So,
What's your guess, Brett?
All right, so how far behind Pappy am I?
12?
10.
Yeah, 10.
I have 12. He has 2, right?
Yeah.
Pappy said what?
6.
I will say 17.
I'll say 7.
My favorite usage of the word bombs is this quote from Christopher Walken. Says, "My gosh, those commies are brilliant. You've got to hand it to them. No, we didn't drop any bombs. Oh yes, our evil empire has collapsed. Poor, poor us. I bet they even asked the West for aid, right?" Mikey, you hit it on the head. It was 7 times said in this movie. But that does mean, Pappy, you just had a total of 3 strokes for 5 categories there. Really impressive match. Can you I want you to give a hot take and toss it out to Spoiler Man, but one last thanks to Gina and Kylo. I feel like you deserve a little bit of a last word here. Do you want to say anything to your mom?
Thank you, Mom, for introducing me to movies at such a young age and for bringing me to movie theaters to see movies made for adults as a toddler. I think that was hugely influential on my life. And, you know, a lot of my life now revolves around movies, not just my hobbies, but like just for entertainment. When I'm not, like, if I'm not watching a movie, I'm usually listening to another movie related podcast or a movie related YouTube video. And so it's funny that my mom just like really helped guide me in this direction, and I'm truly appreciative of that. I love you, Mom.
I don't have friends.
Oh.
I got family.
Can I say something to Mrs. Kylo too? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
you.
You know, I don't really have a super hot take. I'll just stick on that theme. Moms rock. I love my mom. Thank you, Corey's mom. You know, thank you to all the moms
Thank you,
who
Mom.
listen to this
All the hot
podcast. Thank you,
moms?
Brett's mom. Yeah, all the MILFs
Brett,
out there, all the
or
gilfs
Mikey,
out
I mean.
there.
What the hell's
What?
wrong with you this episode?
What?
You said something. You
Just
said
like
the
moms.
word tits earlier. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Mom's got tits. What? What's the difference?
I used to work
And
with
listen,
your mom, Mikey.
My mom was amazing, but I saw this TikTok the other day. It was like, be kind to your mom, even if she's not perfect, because it was her first time living, too. So I would encourage
Damn.
any listener, just shoot your mom a text right now and just be like, hey, love you, Mom. Just do it.
Oh.
You'll feel better for it.
Not us, though.
That's
It's
my hot
late.
take. Well, yeah, maybe not now. But in the meantime, you know how to become a Patreon, just like Corey's mom, when Spoiler Man takes it away.
Special thank you to our patrons. Matt Troll.
I'd say my baseball card collection is as complete as anyone I've ever seen.
Brother Brian.
The doc says,
Druid King.
put it on my bill.
Nick.
Would you like a tranquilizer?
The Meg.
Well, thank you. You've been very, very helpful.
Nurse Stacy.
There's a song that Mr. Como sings called On the Street Where You Live. Do you know it?
The Wolf.
I have often walked down this street before.
Barky 420.
But the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before.
PK.
All at once am I
Spencer.
several stories high,
Gale.
knowing I'm on the street where you live.
Swole.
My dad said that if I found a healthy young
Cheese Zombie.
I should bring her on down.
Sebastian.
Why, Eve, you look plenty healthy to me.
Dr. Lars.
Oh, you dial 9 to get out.
Stone Cold Austin.
Of what?
Nephew Quinn.
The hotel.
Best friend Drew.
By the way, Eve, her last name, Rustikov. That's not Russian, is it?
No, it's Ukrainian.
Ah.
Her grandparents immigrated.
Shatty Daddy.
I don't understand.
Jimmy the Cricket.
I'm his pimp.
If you'd like to request an episode, hear your name read by Spoiler Man, or even just help us make podcasts, please check us out on patreon.com/spoilerspodcast. Be sure to check out Corey's podcast, Big Dumb Movie. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Spoilers is now available on Audible.
My baby too fine, oh yeah. She's black and beautiful. I could say it loud, I know go feet hide, Mama so confident, I dig do your style, Oh Lord, I've been blessed by my ancestors from the Nile, Oh Lord, I've been blessed. My lady is black and so proud, Mama, oh yo yo, this your beauty, body, body, yo. Black and beautiful.
Jimmy the Cricket. Jimmy the Cricket. Jimmy the Cricket. Jimmy the Cricket. Oh, my stupid laptop is starting to get loud because of Fiverr. Shut that off. There's something weird. The website, only website Fiverr, it runs my computer hard. And it starts making this fan noise. Dang it. Here, let me just put it to sleep real quick. I think you got a good take in there, but we'll do a couple more for fun. Jimmy the Cricket, why you busting my balls here? We go Joe Pesci. Check 1, 2. Let's turn it down a little bit. Check, 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 check. What do you think? I'm funny? Funny like how? Funny like clown? Are you calling me a clown? That was Spoilers.